What we've seen recently too is with some of our principal larger accounts, new accounts that we've won, we're competing directly head to head with some offshore sources.
So, Dave, last night was the President's State of the Union address, and you talked about manufacturing, trying to bring manufacturing jobs back in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
We pulled up outside of Conelec this morning. You don't have enough parking spaces for all the people you employ here, 110, 115 people. So, what's the deal with manufacturing in the United States? Is it good or is it bad? Because it's hard to tell by listening to television.
Right. We've had our challenges. If you can remember going back, you've been in business for a long time, I'm sure. And going back in the 1990s, late 1990s, 99, 2000 time frame, there was a push to have, move offshore with a lot of companies, and so we did see some of the higher volume stuff that we were manufacturing move offshore. But what's happened since then is, and we've seen continuous growth pretty much every year since then, with barring the most recent downturn in the economy in 2005, 2006 timeframe. Last year we had an 18% increase, and we're forecasting, at a minimum, that percentage increase this year for 2012 or better. So yes, manufacturing is thriving and doing well, I think, with companies that are run well, and that were financially sound and could weather a little bit of a downturn. So we've seen that, and we've gained some market share from some of the smaller companies that didn't survive. So the better, well-run ones did gain some market share because of that. But what we've seen recently too is with some of our principal larger accounts, new accounts that we've won, we're competing directly head to head with some offshore sources, and we've won that business from them. We are not necessarily the lowest by unit cost, but we're competitive. Sometimes we can beat them on unit cost, but what we're finding is we're usually in the 5 to 8% range. If we're high, we're only that much higher. And the high volume stuff, the extremely high volume stuff, is going to stay offshore, sure, more than likely. But our niche is kind of low to medium volume, high mix. And what our customers are telling us, the ones that have gone offshore and have pulled back, is that they like the close relationship and our responsiveness. So that's some of the big things that they've determined that with them pulling back the business and coming back stateside.
Talk to us a little bit about how your company's gotten more productive. We just got back from a tour of your factory floor, and you showed us some software implementations that are helping speed and make more productive your work in progress. Talk a little bit about how that's helping.
Sure. Some of the things that we've been working on, and to be competitive in this business and stay competitive, you can't be static. You can never be comfortable. And so the things that we've been doing is mostly improving our back office systems, with software. Some of the stuff that we were doing before was very labor intensive as far as capturing metrics and that type of thing. With the new software that we've purchased, our new ERP and MRP software, it allows us to link that software with our data collection systems, our AOI systems, and our production equipment. So it automatically feeds that information into the ERP system, so that we can make rapid decisions instead of spending all of our time and labor collecting the information so that we can analyze it and make a decision. That response time is much more shorter, and we've eliminated the labor to capture those metrics. So we're leveraging technology that way to kind of be a force multiplier, and that's what we're using for the technology for on the production floor. And we're seeing a huge improvement on that. I showed you, how we're tracking our router steps as well. So that tracks labor for each of the production processes, so we know exactly the exact amount of time and labor that's spent on each individual process, and that helps us focus to improve our productivity for each of those particular process or assemblies.
Looks like you might be outgrowing this facility soon.
Yeah, funny you mention that. We recently just purchased a new location, and we'll be moving probably in the August timeframe, July-August timeframe, and it'll triple our size, square footage.
The investments that you guys have made over the last couple of years, would you say that they've impacted the volumes at which you can become competitive? In other words, you're pushing up into,
we are
past your former ceiling.
We are. Before we weren't competing with, say, tier 1 suppliers, and that's happening more frequently now. I don't think we're ever going to be building. I don't want to say never, okay, but we're probably not going to be building iPads in that kind of volume. That's not the niche that we're in the market that we're serving, okay. But so that the market we're serving is a good fit for us, is the medium volume. But as we get better and as we're more competitive and more productive in implementation of the things that we're improving on and gaining efficiencies, we're finding that we're encroaching in on that higher market and being competitive with the tier 1 suppliers in some cases.
One of the arguments for offshoring is that if you go to the right countries, India, China, Vietnam, there are just as many, if not more, talented engineers there, and they come at a fraction of the cost of the American engineer. You guys haven't gone offshore. Give us your sense for the kinds of skill sets that you're seeing coming out of school in the engineering ranks.
Mm-hmm. The skill sets are fine. Some schools do a better job, and we kind of recruit a couple different schools that do focus kind of on our industry, and their engineering programs kind of they have a more focus on electronics and manufacturing instead of not. So we kind of target those schools and recruit from those areas. But the thing with manufacturing, the type of business that we're in, there's not so much of a benefit from regions for, say, a low-cost area, whether it's in Asia or India or Hungary or wherever, or Vietnam or wherever, because we're providing a manufacturing service. We're seeing more and more where companies are asking us to do the design work for them, and we can do that as well. But most of the companies that come to us already have their designs built from the schematic up, and we're providing the manufacturing service. So there's not a real cost benefit for placing it's not cheaper to place the part with a surface mount machine in Thailand necessarily than it is here, okay? Where the big benefit was back in the late 1990s, where you had more through-hole technologies and it was more manual intervention. Well, what we're seeing with technology and innovation over time is it's changing more to surface mount, so that delta and cost is reducing because it can be automated, and that's where we're part of the reason why we're seeing some of the pullback as well, and that's where we'll be able to be competitive because there's less manual intervention.